Sometime in the 2020s, two geeks from across social media formed an alliance to bring you geek news from across the Nostalgiaverse. They are Jacob's Toys and SuperSorrell. So strap yourselves in for the weekly live show that brings you toy news, TV and movie reviews, special guests, opinions, tangents, and bad impressions. Reveals, releases, thoughts, and maybe dreams. So prepare yourselves for the Geek Week in Review. Live.
Hello, welcome back to the Geek Week in Review with me, Jacob's Toys, and of course the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell. I've nailed it now. I know which way to point. 135 weeks, and I've finally figured out which way to point.
Never do it.
Fantastic. You got to point the opposite way. That's what it is. Point the opposite way. Hello, welcome everyone. We will get to comments as we go through the show. Thank you very much for tuning in. As we said, it's episode 135, which means we've been doing this for a long time now. If you're watching live, jump in on the comments, say hello, join in with the conversation that's going on. If you're watching it on repeat, which I know a lot of you are, so what is it they need to use?
Hashtag catch up crew.
Hashtag catch up crew. Do check out the description of the videos. You've got all the links to various different socials and whatnot. Now, we do have a special guest joining us this week, and I'm very, very excited to bring them in very shortly. We did our end of year show not too long ago, and we talked about our favorite figures and bits and bobs and stuff. And we both said that Diamond Select was our favorite brand of the year, wasn't it? Our favorite manufacturer of the year, just down to the amount of stuff that they've got coming out all the time, and the stuff that obviously we've been managed to get our hands on. And a couple of weeks ago we had Rocco the Great on one of our Geek Week Plus shows, and he spoke very highly of the gentleman that we're about to introduce, so I'm very excited to bring him onto the show.
You know you want to say it. You know you want to say it. You know you want to say it first. It was the diamond in our select. It's Zach.
How are we doing, Zach? You good?
I'm doing good. How are you? I'm the diamond in select.
The joke was just there. It was on a plate. I had to put the diamond in our select.
It was. Zach, for anybody that might not know who you are, I mean, obviously me and Sorrell are very in touch with who you are and what you do and stuff, but just give people that are watching a quick brief overview of what you do.
Sure. I'm the marketing supervisor for DST and Gentle Giant Limited, and I do a lot of outreach to press and reporters like yourself, photographers. I do a lot of copywriting for the brand, for packaging and advertising and just marketing materials in general. And I take some pictures too every now and again, not usually for work, but just for fun. So I do a little bit of everything.
Amazing. So you're a collector yourself then as well, I guess.
Yeah. I got I collect a lot of DST stuff. Just I love the Lord of the Rings and the Invincible and stuff like that. But I have some Marvel Legends. I have some G.I. Joe Classified. Not a huge outside DST collector because DST keeps me pretty busy.
That's it. That's the thing is, like, as an action figure collector, so many people nowadays like cross over into all different brands, and it's great speaking to people like yourself, knowing that you have legends. We have Steve Evans from Hasbro has joined the show a few times, and his personal collection just ranges across everything. Like, it's not just Marvel or just Hasbro. It's like so much, and it's great when collectors like yourself are doing the jobs that you're doing, because it makes it more authentic. I've got to say, like, Diamond Select for me have been one of them brands that have kind of always been present in my collecting years. I started collecting way back into sort of the early 2000s, but I remember kind of walking into comic book shops and just sort of seeing the Marvel Selects just lying in the stores. I mean, we had a comic book shop local to me that's not around anymore, unfortunately, and the majority of their action figures were the Selects. And I remember seeing things like the Wolverine one with the wolves. That one came out quite a few years back, didn't it? That was there, and it was one of them ones where I was like, I want it. I'm not sure if I do. But one thing I will say about like Marvel Selects, for example, is that they really kind of hold their place in people's collections. They seem to have like a long shelf life. There you go. Look, sorry, there's your
Marvel Select family.
That's it. But they do. They seem to have a long shelf life in people's collections.
I just had a quick look on my channel, and Diamond Select. My playlist is now up to 112 videos.
Oh wow!
And that goes right back to 2006 when my channel began. So I mean, I've been doing them long before. Obviously, we got talking Zach and got sort of stuff sent over to me. I'd been reviewing the Muppets and all sorts, and the Marvel figures years ago. So I'm a big Diamond Select fanboy, I've got to admit. And the statues that I've been getting sent from you the last year have been amazing. They're all around my room now. I've got the Crow, I've got the Nun. They're all over the place. They're amazing.
Yeah, I know you love the horror. Yeah, and the Marvel Selects, I can see that people not wanting necessarily getting rid of them because we've done a lot of characters that people haven't, a lot of looks that people haven't, and a lot of the dioramas tend to really anchor the figures and anchor their place in the collection. So, so I can see that. I can see what you're saying there.
That's one of the things about the brand as well. Like not even just with Select, but with other brands that you touch on as well. The diorama side of things is incredible. Like we were speaking last week, I think it was, about Ghostbusters. But like the rooftop diorama is still one of those pieces that I've got boxed up that I pull out. I think I use part of the rooftop diorama in most of my action figure photography. It just works so well, and it's just such a huge part. But yeah, the diorama side of the figures is fantastic as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, the pirate setup from the Jack Sparrow figure, I've used that in so many things now. And the chair from the Crow, that's now, I mean, Dracula sat on that at the minute from NECA. So, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I've got on display comes from Diamond. It's weird. Like, a lot of the little displays and things, they're amazing. Some of the accessories and that you get.
Yeah, I use the rooftop from the No Way Home, not No Way Home, but Homecoming Spider-Man that we did. He has like a little rooftop. I use that for everything. And the alleyways from Gotham that we did. I use those.
Oh, they're so good.
Oh, the Gotham figures. They were that Arkham Gate that came with. Who was it that it came with? Came with a female figure, I think.
Yeah, it came with I'm
I'm
blanking on the name now. The blonde.
Yeah, the black and white.
Yes, I used that for so much. Like that went across so many of my different collections. But you know, the figures in themselves as well are fantastic. I mean, I've always said that, you know, the sculpting, the detail, the paintwork on the figures is brilliant. And what's good fun as well is that you cover a lot of different properties. That it's really varied what you guys cover or have covered, which is great for all collectors, really.
Yeah, our licenses are pretty diverse, and I think that does cause a little bit of it can be sort of a problem sometimes, in that some people don't affiliate us with one line specifically, and so it's hard to cement ourselves in people's minds because we're constantly moving. Like Ghostbusters, we did 10 series of, and Nightmare Before Christmas we've done. I think we're working on series 10 right now. But a lot of the lines, we'll do a couple waves and then we'll move on to something else. And I think that's a lot of people, maybe don't necessarily keep us in their heads for one specific brand, because we are kind of sticking and moving a lot.
Yeah. No, Diamonds, the Nightmare Before Christmas Diamond Select stuff. We spoke very briefly before we came on, but for me, that's an absolute gold mine, just because of my youngest son being such a fan of Nightmare Before Christmas anyway. But one thing I realized this Christmas that I hadn't clicked onto is that I've got a Santa Jack from, I don't know what series it was now, but as part of my tree decoration, he's come out every single year and sits on the tree long before I had the collection that I had, was able to fill the holes that I was able to fill with your help. But yeah, I had I've got a Santa Jack that sits on the tree every year. And it's the funny thing is my wife's a big Disney fan. Both mine and Sorrell's wives are both Disney fans. So our tree was very Disney orientated. So I kind of managed to squeeze him on there. I'm like, it's on Disney Plus. Like, you can't argue. It's on there. it's there. But yeah, like also what's good as well is that I don't think people realize the variety of products that you guys do, from obviously things like the 7-inch figures, like the Diamond Select, Marvel Select, sorry, right down to the deforms, to the mini mates. Like, mini mates in themselves are phenomenal. Like, they're so much fun. for what they are. And you know, in our toy boxes, there's parts of mini mates pretty much in every toy box that you can find. And then I have mine that, you know, it's kind of like, no, people, you can't play with those ones. They're my ones. There's like bits of mini mates because of obviously being able to swap pieces around and stuff like that. And the deforms, which I only really discovered this year, just gone, with your help. Phenomenal piece of kit, absolutely phenomenal pieces. That turtle box set is beautiful. Like absolutely beautiful, down to the packaging, everything. So yeah, but we were talking about Diamond Select, and obviously us being UK based, and being able to find them, because again, with some distribution, like it's confusing for people where they can kind of locate Diamond Select figures or Diamond Select products. So fill us in a little bit about us UK people. Where's the best place for people to?
Not there. I will admit that not every single license we do makes it to the UK, but most of them do. I think Marvel Minimates and most Minimates currently are not necessarily done to the UK, but action figures for sure. And we have a distributor, Diamond Comics UK, who distributes to comic shops. So if you have a comic shop in your area, or you can find one on comicshoplocator.com, then they should be able to get in most of the products that we make. You can pre-order them when they are announced, if you don't have an online retailer that you like, and they should be able to get them directly from their distributor. So definitely look into that if you're having trouble finding a place to pick up DST stuff.
Amazing. So just to be clear, if we've got a local comic book store that stocks Diamond Select, you can speak to them and they would be able to get the product because they have that relationship already. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. If they carry comic books in general, even if they don't necessarily stock a lot of action figures, they should theoretically be able to order from their comic book distributor, assuming they order from Diamond Comics. I'm not familiar entirely with the comic book marketplace in UK, like if there are other distributors. In the US there are a couple now, but Diamond is still far and away one of the biggest. Diamond Comics US.
Diamond is predominantly the biggest one in the UK. That's the one that majority, like every comic book store I go to has the Diamond boxes. So yeah, I think that's the main distributor over here.
Okay, they also distribute DST. So so definitely, if you have a comic shop in the area, and again, you can find one at comicshoplocator.com. Definitely ask them if you can order in products you're interested in.
Amazing. That's really cool news. That's really good news, because it's one of the conversations I've had with a lot of people when I've been doing the videos and stuff, and they're like, how can I get my hands on them? And I've always kind of directed them to Diamond Select Toys website, or obviously asked them to speak to their preferred retailer, because it was a little bit of a cloudy one. But that's really interesting to know, and I think it's something that a lot of people do know. So yeah, that's definitely something we'll be pushing from now on.
Great, thank you.
Excuse me. So obviously me and Sorrell have very different, kind of slightly different tastes in regards to what it is that we collect. We kind of like, I'm much more the kind of superhero kind of guy. Sorrell's much more a horror kind of guy. And I think
my collection's the only one where the Muppets and Freddy Krueger are best friends. So I mean, mine is the weirdest collection known to man.
But I think that's one of the reasons why Diamond Select came out on top for both of us, because it was kind of like, you know what, my collection now is mainly Marvel, Invincible, Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, you know, all those kind of things. And Diamond Select covered like sort of 9 out of 10 of the things in my collection. So that to me is why it came out on top for me. And then for Sorrell as well, similar reasons, it ticked the boxes. So there is such a huge amount.
Yeah, no, we've got some really great licenses right now. And I think we're working on a couple more that we haven't announced yet, but we do have certainly plenty going on right now. And yeah, all those licenses you named, we have at least something going on, if not statues and busts, then mini-mates, or even action figures.
Yeah. 2074 comment said in a comment in the chat there, we need more Spider-Man figs. He is a big Spider-Man guy.
Never mind that 2074. We need Green Hornet to go with KO. Green Hornet, please give me Green Hornet.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've looked into Green Hornet. I'm not sure what our current status is with them, but we are working on a new Marvel Select Spider-Man, believe it or not. So hopefully we'll be able to reveal that later on this year. Maybe even
there you go.
Diego.
A little bit of
this next
little
year,
bit of
I'm
news there.
this next year I'm just looking forward to finally being able to have Bruce Lee versus Jean-Claude Van Damme in my collection. That's just necessary.
Yeah, Jean-Claude should be out soon. Fingers crossed. I'm waiting for him.
We had Rocco the Great on a couple of weeks back, like I mentioned it before we introduced you, and we went down a whole tangent because he's a big Harry Potter fan. We're obviously British, and we were like, no one's got a decent license for Harry Potter. Like Diamond Select need to get on this because the amount of stuff that you guys could do with the diorama pieces and the sculpting details. So for a throwback to that show, if you can get the Harry Potter license, let us know because it's just dying for a good figure line, like a really good action figure line with all of those extra characters. And I'm thinking the Ghostbusters rooftop style diorama but of Hogwarts. Can you imagine how good that would be? Like, and I think there's only one company that could do it justice, and that would be DST.
There's that famous thing in the Harry Potter films. Obviously, they're in the Great Hall where they have all the professors sat at the top, which is just perfect for a diorama piece with the big table and all the chairs behind it. And then you could literally just release Dumbledore, Hagrid, and Snape, and literally have all the professors behind the little diorama piece. That'd be amazing. Because all the companies that have done it, like Figure Arts and stuff, they always go for Harry, Hermione, Ron, Draco in the school uniform, standard figures. They did it with Mattel, did it with the dolls. And the line dies a death because everyone's already got those because they've done them 1,000 times over. If you go in strong with the professors, the villains, Bellatrix, that is the line we want right there.
No, I remember when NECA was doing them back in the day. They weren't so articulated, but they had some great likenesses and they had some pretty great characters. I think we've considered it in the past. I don't know where it currently sits, but it would definitely be a cool license to do, and to do some diorama bases would be very cool as well. But obviously, you got to do Harry, Ron, and Hermione. I know that was what McFarlane did when they launched their line, but those had some interesting articulation, and those did the street clothes, which are cool, but maybe not necessarily what everybody was looking for.
But the Voldemort in that series still holds up. I mean, I've still got the Voldemort on my shelf. The McFarlane Voldemort, he still holds up.
Yeah, great likeness and a great dynamic pose.
I got very excited when you guys announced recently the Rick and Michonne Walking Dead figures.
Yeah.
Big Walking Dead fan, both of the comic book. The comic book's one of the only comic books I think I've read in its entirety from cover to cover across all volumes, just because I couldn't stop reading it. And then the show as well. So seeing those figures announced, was it San Diego Comic-Con that they were announced? Or was it New York?
I think that's where we showed them for the first time, and we solicited them for pre-orders it was a couple months ago, I think. Yeah,
they just look fantastic, like literally straight off the page, kind of good.
Thank you. Yeah, we had two really good sculptors on that.
Is that is that just, are we just seeing them two, or is there, I know whether you're at liberty to disclose, but
I believe the plan is to do a full line. I haven't seen the next two figures yet, but I'm fairly certain that we're working on them. I don't think it's just a two off. So definitely be on the lookout. Hopefully, again, we'll have something to show by San Diego for sure.
Oh, amazing. Comic book Negan.
Comic book Negan.
Again, and you can see it just behind you, but Invincible, another line that I think is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I'm a huge fan of the show. And I love the fact that you guys are doing the kind of show version, like the Amazon version of the figures. I've got them just out of camera over here, but they're set up beautifully.
Yeah, they're definitely cartoon based, and the figures keep getting better. I think in terms of articulation and everything. So the Monster Globe just came out, is really great, and we'll have the Mauler twin and Rexplode coming up next.
Yeah, and obviously with Series 2 now out as well on Amazon Prime, there's I guess just a whole bunch of other potential figures. Like the line could continue for quite some time with
characters. Yeah, I'd love to see more of the original Guardians of the Globe, although I know they're all DC.
Yeah, spoilers if you've not seen, but come on, that came out a while ago.
Episode 1, you got to see at least episode 1, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that clip as well just circulated like TikTok and YouTube because it was just so violent in comparison to the other animation that we had seen. But no, I even got a friend of mine to 3D print like the the Invincible logo. So it's about the size it is on the box, but it's a 3D logo. So I've got the
great.
figures. I'll have to send you a picture over, but it looks phenomenal. I'm just looking at it here. But no, I absolutely love it. Absolutely brilliant line. Absolutely brilliant line. And like you say, Monster Girl, really, really good. Really, really good figure.
Oh, thank you.
By yourself, Sorrel.
For me, I'm looking forward to Uncle Deadly and Pepe from Muppets. Uncle Deadly's just a character that nobody ever creates. The last time we had him, it was so hard to get hold of.
I
And
remember that was the tail end of the line, tail end of the Palisades line.
yeah, so
he's all exclusives, all of his versions.
Mm-hmm. And I've just the Iron Giant as well. He's a character that sells out instantly in the UK. You can never get an Iron Giant for love of money.
Really?
So look forward to the new metallic one. And
Oh,
then and then Captain America. I've just seen your Captain America announcement as well, and
Oh.
that's amazing.
Yes, yeah. The Captain America is a lot of fun to play with. He's got a lot of different pieces, and he's very well articulated. So I'm very excited. I mean, I'm not excited anymore because I have been playing with an advanced sample of him for a little while, but I'm excited to see what everybody else thinks when they get to play with it.
Mm.
Yeah. And of course we mentioned it when it first announced, but that Archangel was just it was just stunning. Like I cannot wait to see the in-hand pictures, and so just an absolutely beautiful. Like I think that collectors of all lions, as soon as that was kind of unveiled, the pictures just circulated. Like people were sending them, posting them. Like I think I got sent it about 15 times from various different people. Have you seen this Archangel? Have you seen? It's just an absolutely fantastic thing. But you have quite a lot of sculptors working on Diamond Select, don't you? You have like quite an array of sculptors and painters and stuff.
Yeah. Action figure wise, we have a couple that we use more often than not. Chris Dahlberg, the Lone Horseman, is working on Invincible, and he's worked on a few recent Marvel Selects. We've used, I think, for Walking Dead, it was May Santarana, and I believe Paul Harding did the other one. I forget which one did which one. But May Santarana does a lot of our May Shelf, I think is his online name, and he does a lot of our Marvel Selects as well. And also, Gentle Giant Studios does a lot of our more realistic figures like Lord of the Rings and Muppets. So yeah, we have for action figures, we have a few go-tos. We have a lot more diorama sculptors, the gallery dioramas, and statues and busts. But no, we have a lot of really talented artists, including 2D designers who really put a lot of effort and exciting dynamic posing into the statues and a lot of really great accessories into the action figures.
We mentioned it a minute ago. Rocco's in the comments. Rocco, you
love
missed
Harry
it.
Potter, yeah.
We've thrown it out. The idea. We said that we'd thrown it together. So yeah, Harry Potter. We've mentioned it. So if we see that license, like it's, we can but hope. We can but hope. But yeah, we went down a rabbit hole on that one. We must have talked for about 20 minutes about the various different ideas and who would come first and what would be wave one. I've got to say, the Lord of the Rings figures as well recently, they have been incredibly fun to play with, just because they're an older film now, because obviously, I mean, what that film's got to be 20 years.
I think so.
More, yeah, probably more now.
Easily. And obviously they had there was a whole range of figures that came out at the time, and they were great, but there's something different about these ones, that kind of being that bit older myself and having a decent action figure in hand of these characters so long after the film came out, it's a weird one. It's kind of like a reward, but also a nostalgic trip. And I think, I mean, Rocco said it there, killing it with Lord of the Rings. I think that sums it up. I've just heard people saying so many positive things about it.
It's a lot of fun, the line, and again, figures keep getting better. I've seen we're going to be soliciting Merry and Pippin, I believe, end of next week. That completes the fellowship, and then we've got Gandalf the White is going to be coming up, and we've got a couple more waves already sculpted, which are very exciting. So
Amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going. Hopefully, we'll get about 3 waves out this week, this year, counting Saruman and Sam, who just hit. I believe they hit this coming Wednesday. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of Lord of the Rings. I think we're working on the San Diego exclusive as well.
Wow, that's awesome to hear. That really is awesome to hear. Just because, I mean, I've got mine take up. I mean, majority of my collection are in IKEA details, and I've got a whole cube just dedicated to Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that's great.
So I'm gonna have to spread that out. If there's that many more coming, I'm gonna have to think of like taking up a top shelf or something, because it's at the moment I've got them all kind of around. But yeah, I mean,
if they've got Merry and Pippin, I'm sorry, but we now need a tree beard that's in scale. We now need a tree beard to sit them on.
No, that'd be great. We do have the Cave Troll coming. It's a gallery diorama. It's static, but it's going to be in scale to the action figures. So.
Wow!
Stop doing this to me. My wallet is hurting. My wallet's shouting out.
I tell you what, the builder figure for this was phenomenal though, because it's a character that I never had it before. Like I never had a version of him before. And it's such a big beastie builder figure that it towers over, excuse the pun, but it towers over the rest of the figures and just looks phenomenal. So I'm very excited. I don't know whether you can say or not, but you're saying about other waves sort of coming, other series coming. Will there be a builder figure with that, or are they just straight releases?
Straight releases, no builder figure, but we are trying to get good accessories in with the figures to make up for it. It's figure costs have gone up a lot, so it's hard to do 1.25 figures in every pack. But extra accessories are definitely something we can do. And I know Merry and Pippin come with some really cool accessories, and I haven't seen the accessory breakdown for the next couple waves, but we're always trying to get more accessories in that we, as much as we can fit within that. We try to stick to a set price. We don't want to go over $29.99. So we try to include what we can at that price. And I think the San Diego exclusive is going to have some cool accessories as well.
Wow.
Yeah, the Gollum figure.
I'm trying to rack my brain as to who that San Diego Comic-Con exclusive could be. But yeah, the Gollum figure.
The Gollum figure, yeah, that came with the one that we got that came with the rock and all the accessories for Legolas and Gimli were awesome. Those extra axes and extra knives and things were great. Even though they're nothing to do with Gollum, it were great just to include those so that we got them for the other figures down the line, which is great. Love that.
Yeah, no, we definitely wanted to, get some stuff out there to make it a special release and to definitely get those knives out for Legolas.
The Gollum figure in itself, like the little ring holding hand.
Oh, so good.
It's absolutely beautiful. And I didn't click at the beginning, so I was just like, okay, cool. He's got some fish. He's got some weapons. Like I just kind of thought, okay, it's Diamond Select being Diamond Select, and they're giving us as many accessories as possible. And it wasn't until I was reviewing the Legolas figure, and I was like, hang on. Went and got the accessories. I was like, wow, these actually, it was like a preempted kind of release. It was, so that, yeah, really, really cool. But I think it's something that Diamond Select do so well. You mentioned in accessories because, not throwing any shade at any other brands or anything like that. But one of the biggest complaints across other brands is the lack of accessories, or, we're paying X amount for this and all we're getting is an extra head or an extra pair of hands, But with Diamond Select, it seems like there's always kind of, for me, it always feels like there's more accessories than I can actually use, which is always a plus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's Captain America is a good example of one where you can do like 3 different looks for the character or 2 different looks for the character, and the Archangel has a couple different heads. It's hard, some figures don't really speak for accessories like Archangel, but I think we might be doing the 3rd head for that. I got to double check the Horseman head, and then Crimson Dynamo is another one that's going to come with a bunch of stuff. So definitely keep an eye out for that.
Brilliant. I mean, the John Wick figures and the Blade figure, but just between those, the arsenal that comes with between those figures was just fantastic.
Yeah, Blade's a great one, and John Wick. Yeah, we've done a few different John Wicks, and each one of them comes with. It's tough to say which one has the best accessories because one's got the first dog, one's got the second dog, one's got the frame picture of his wife, and then we did that deluxe one that came with a big crate of weapons. So
Yes,
to really build a proper arsenal, you should really have more than one version of John Wick because there's so many different accessories with each figure.
yeah. It's just, and the great thing as well is like we talk about going back and stuff. You know, Sorrell mentioned The Crow, but again, that's a film that came out so many years ago. But to be able to get decent action figures or a decent diorama piece of a property like The Crow is fantastic. You know, because otherwise it would be down to kind of customizing and stuff like. So until I picked up a Crow Diamond Select figure, for example, I had like a custom that I'd made myself on a 6-inch base.
Oh wow, okay.
To get the Diamond Select and then have things like the chair and the actual crows and stuff like that. Just chef's kiss for me.
That's great. Thank you.
But anything you're excited for, Sorrel? Anything that you're anticipating?
Boromir. Obviously, being from the north of England, we need that. I need that Boromir figure now. I need another Sean Bean on my shelf. So yeah, Boromir is one I'm looking forward to. And like you said about if you're going to do a cave troll, I'm now sat here thinking I'm going to go on the second-hand market this evening and try and find me a Legolas because I'm missing Legolas. He's the only one I haven't got now. So and then I'm up to date with the line then. But yeah, if they're going to get a cave troll, I'm just thinking of diorama space and where I'm going to put him.
Yeah, I think you missed the trick though with the Sean Bean figure. Should have had like arrows that you could put him in him and stuff. Do you know what I mean? The guy seems to die in every movie. So
oh yeah. He did come in a wave with Lurtz, and Lurtz does come with some arrows. So you just got to figure out a way to attach him. We didn't have any set holes for him. That would have been a good idea. But another line that's coming up is Rebel Moon, which I'm pretty excited about. The movie just hit last month, and I think they're going to be shipping in the next couple of weeks. They're in our warehouse for the website now, and they should be in the warehouse for comic shops very soon.
I absolutely love
it.
I loved the Rebel Moon film. I was really, really. I think there was so much kind of talk about it just kind of being Zack Snyder's Star Wars. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not, it is what it is. And yeah, I kind of went into it I went into it a bit kind of apprehensive, and I was like, okay, and 10 minutes in, I was like, yeah, I'm invested, and I cannot wait for the next installment now. Like it was just a lot of fun, and there was, of course, there's things that were, like somebody jumping through space with a spear to, crash a ship, like of course, but it's an action figure, it's a fantasy film, and at the time, are you on your edge? Are you on the edge of your seat? What? Yeah, I was. So yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised with how cool it was, and there hasn't been a lot of merchandise to go with it. So to see the figures, because you guys announced them quite a while back, didn't you? They're finally coming out. We got Nemesis, and I have been playing with them and taking pictures, and we got Jimmy, the robot, and Series 2. Where I think we just finally got a couple figures approved, so we're going to go ahead with Series 2, offering that I think in the next couple months. So that'll be cool. Amazing. Does Jimmy come with a little wreath of flowers to go on his head?
No, we might do like a special version of him down the road, but the first Jimmy is like first appearance Jimmy. And I think I don't know if we're going to see more Jimmy robots. I think there might not be that many left in the world that the Geek movie inhabits. But this is more of a basic Jimmy.
But yeah, no, it's a great movie, and I was just surprised that there wasn't more merchandise that went with it, like just in general. So to see action figures was a plus.
I know one company did a statue of Jimmy, and we have the Mini-Mates coming out too. We're doing a box set of Mini-Mates of the 4 main characters.
Amazing.
I love Mini-Mates. They're a lot of fun.
They are. They're really good. It's just the interchangeable elements, like the Ninja Turtle ones and the Transform ones for me were fantastic. But the ones that really stood out were the G.I. Joe ones, the ones that came on like the mini card back.
Oh yeah,
like, I haven't been able to bring myself to open them yet because I'm like, and I'm not an inbox collector at all, but I was just kind of like the card on these things was just like they were like miniature action figures. I was just like, yeah. Rocco the Great still in the chat. The Power Ranger Mini-Mates are the best ones in a long time. Actually,
those had a lot of interchangeable parts, a lot of weapons, a lot of stuff.
I'm not talking. I'm not like just blowing smoke here. But the Power Ranger one, these to me were, were a proper good set, and it was all the artwork. This is what I was really pleasantly surprised about when I opened it up. It was like, oh, it's like my DVD case. Yeah, they're just phenomenal, just really phenomenal little figures. But I do kind of find myself a little bit hesitant to open some of them because I'm like, they look so good in the box that I don't want to ruin that. And I've never been like that with an action figure, so to be like that with mini mates just seems bonkers to me.
Well, I do recommend you open them because they're a lot of fun, as you know. But the designer who does the packaging and also designs the mini-mates, Barry Bradfield, he does most of the packaging nowadays. Our other designer, Steve Rowan, does a lot of some of it, but most of the mini-mates packaging is done by Barry, and he does a really great job. Making the fake VHS cases and the fake DVD case, and just the carded packaging for the GI Joes. He does a great job.
I've got one. I knew I had one down here, but I have opened this one. I've taken them out of this one.
Good.
But yeah, the like this is just straight out of my youth. Like just to have the VHS case, and I was kind of like, this is crazy. Like, have they just sent me like a Turtles video? This is amazing. But they're brilliant. They really are.
They're a lot of fun. We're gonna do another Transformers VHS, I think, for San Diego. And I think we're gonna do another action figure VHS as well because we do the clamshell VHSs for the 7-inchers. So here, John Wick. I love them. I collect the VHS, so I keep them on my wall.
See, that just reminds me of video stores, like video shops, like that type of packaging is the video store to me. Just really quickly, Rocco again, just the mini-mate packaging has been top tier. Bethany Beth, one of our regular viewers, has said, any more plans for Dracula figures?
We haven't done Universal Monsters in a long time, and they're getting a lot of love from NECA right now. So I don't think we're going to be revisiting Universal Monsters anytime soon. I know that I saw someone was voting for Marvel Selects they wanted to see, and they actually had Dracula on that list. So it'd be cool to do a 70s style Dracula, maybe even a modern day Dracula. He's got a pretty cool look too, but that'd be neat to do a Marvel Dracula. So he's not on our short list, but he's certainly a possibility.
I think Bethany was referring to the Castlevania series that you guys did because Alucard, and I think she's referring to that more than anything.
Okay, yeah, no, we definitely did a Dracula. You're right, we did Dracula in Castlevania, and we did Alucard. So I think we're done with that license, but we made 6 pretty cool figures for that while the show was on the air, and I think those came out pretty good. I believe those were sculpted by Richard Force. He did a great job.
Speaking of vampires, I'm really surprised. I know you guys have done the gallery version of Michael Morbius from Marvel, but I'm really surprised you've not gone and done like a full action figure, especially with the Blade release. It would be cool to get a Morbius to sort of stand with him.
You're right. A Morbius Select would be very cool. I don't know why he hasn't made it onto our short list recently, but we do have a lot in the works, like several in the works. So, but the next time we do a roundup, I'll have to sort of gauge what the interest is from the general community and maybe get him on the short list.
Because the Midnight Suns, the video game, kind of re-sparked a lot of people into the sort of darker side of Marvel, and nobody produced any merchandise for that whatsoever. I think Hasbro did one figure. They've done one Iron Man of all things, in the gold armor. But I mean, it'd be really cool to see someone pick up the original. Sort of like, your Michael Morbius, your Hannibal King, and all those really deep cut characters from Marvel in the vampire darker universe would be so cool to see. And let's not say, a Ghost Rider Diamond Select. Why is that not a thing? With the big motorcycle.
We did a 70s Ghost Rider back in the day, and that's a pretty cool figure. It's not the most posable one we've done, but it had a really cool base with like hands reaching out from the underworld, and so a new Ghost Rider is certainly a possibility. I don't know if a motorcycle is a possibility because I'm not sure we can do vehicles, but Ghost Rider on his own, just he walked around, he used his chain and didn't necessarily ride everywhere. So I think a Ghost Rider would be really cool.
It's a figure that has eluded me. Like this is my Ghost Rider section here. I've got the Mezcos, the Legends, everything. I've got all the Ghost Riders I can get my hands on. I just cannot get that.
70s one for you.
Well, we might have to chat. It's just it's missing. But yeah, it's Just really quickly as well, Rocco again, he's definitely here with his Diamond Select things. Honestly, need a new Punisher Select.
It would be very cool. That'd be very cool.
And 2074 has also said Marvel Dracula, please. Just on
That's one
that
vote.
note, though, one of the darker side of Marvel, so you've got like your Draculas, your Goblin Queens, like all that kind of stuff. Like the darker side of Marvel doesn't seem to be touched much with action figures, and there is a huge market of people that are looking at those figures. I mean, I know you guys did Mephisto back in the day, didn't you?
Long time ago, yeah.
That's a figure that on the secondary market just is stupidly priced. But you know, that kind of darker side of Marvel, I think if Select were to do like a short burst of that, I think it would be incredibly popular.
No, that'd be very cool. And those sort of solo characters are ones that would fit in well with our line, just because we're not really a team building line. We've just recently completed the Fantastic Four after it's been a decade or at least. So but it's and we made a lot of Avengers, we made a lot of X-Men, but everybody's always coming up with new X-Men that we haven't done yet, and I think Bishop is one that people would like to see. Solo characters like that are always great for the line, because they are standalone releases, since we don't do waves, that people would express interest in. So I'm all for doing more monsters. Like a man thing would be really cool.
I was just looking at myself.
Don't tease me of a proper man thing with the moss and the branches, and not just the articulated action figure, but like a proper,
No, I'm sure we'd knock it out of the park. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
I reckon a man thing is a diorama piece that scales with the action figures to go. Werewolf by Night and stuff to go with it. That'd be amazing. But I was looking at my shelf, and I've got the Legion of Monsters, but it took Hasbro. I'm thinking now, what, 15 years, almost 10 years at least, to put that together. Because I've got like the Werewolf by Night, which came out with Toy Biz, and then Hasbro to go over the lines. I mean, I've got it took them a decade and a half to get that lineup together.
I remember that Toy Biz box set. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That's
one
the
thing
only Marvel Dracula ever made, right?
Yeah, the only one, the only Dracula that's ever been made.
Only Marvel, it's probably all of them. The only Marvel Frankenstein, the only Marvel Werewolf by Night. It's probably all of them. Yeah.
And then you could do like a Marvel Father Christmas as well, because he's featured. You do
he's definitely been there. He met the Hulk,
with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah. And you've reused some of the Nightmare Before Christmas presents and stuff like that, and the sack. Yeah, it'd be a fantastic.
I love the fact that Santa's a mutant in the Marvel world. I love that. It's amazing.
It's funny. A friend of mine got me the one from not Boss Fight. I forget who made the Santa Claus figures. But I got the Santa Claus figure from that Santa Claus line for the Naughty and Nice.
The Naughty and Nice.
Yeah,
no, it's a really nice figure. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, we're they're knocking it out of the park as well. They're doing release after release after release, but they're ones that are quite hard to get over here for us. So seeing all the reveals of all the new versions of Santa, we're just like, I just want a shelf of Santa Claus, all the different versions.
No, they're all great. Yeah.
Another one here, 2074 again. So I keep throwing the same people up as comments, but a Mysterio Select. You guys will make it awesome looking.
He has been discussed, for sure.
Totally agree. Whether it be, I'd even be down for a movie version, whether it's movie or comic book, but to have that kind of diorama piece. I think that one thing that Diamond Select definitely do well for the Marvel figures in particular are the big figures, like straight to mind, Colossus, Juggernaut, Hulk, Red Hulk, all of those ones, just phenomenal. I'm actually looking, Red Hulk's above me here. But they just...
Yeah, so Juggernaut's one of those figures that I think even the Marvel Legends collectors, everyone gets the Juggernaut from Diamond because it's much bigger and bulkier and better looking than anything Hasbro's ever put out. So I mean, that's like even though I've got like a shelf of Hasbro, I've still in my X-Men, Juggernaut is Diamond, is the big chunky thing that all the others look small around him. It's Ace. But yeah, they make some great big figures. The big figs are awesome.
Excellent.
And Juggernaut on the secondary market isn't one that comes up because he's so heavy to ship. He's so heavy to post.
He's very heavy. I think we had to do the special straps on the packaging to keep the blister on the card.
Yeah, and like a reinforced car back, like it was such a heavy figure. Abomination as well. Abomination was another one that was just so good. But my favorite big one of recent years is definitely that Red Hulk that came out. It just scales so well, looks so good as well.
Yeah, no, I have the Red Hulk. I don't have the Immortal Hulk. I wasn't able to get one of those. We sold out of that twice. But someday I'll get my hands on one because that's a really great figure.
I really enjoyed the Planet Hulk one as well. The Planet Hulk, the Gladiator style Hulk with the shit. Really, really nice figure. Just because, again, it's not one that you really see much in kind of action figure form. So to get like a modern version of that.
Yeah, I think Voyager did one back in the day as part of their Hulk wave, right? A long time ago. That was a long time ago. Part of that Fin Fang Foom wave, was it? Or was it part of the Marvel Legends? I forget.
No, that was the Fin Fang Foom wave from, I want to say 2008, I think it was around that time. That was just a straight Hulk. They just had every Hulk character, didn't they? They just threw all of the Hulks in there.
Wendigo and
we used to be able to get Diamond Select a lot easier over here when the Disney store was open. Because obviously a lot of the Diamond Select stuff obviously went through Disney. I know Disney Store started stocking them towards the back end of their sort of run. And you used to be able to walk in. I remember I remember picking up like the Planet Hulk figure. Both the MCU version and the regular version were both on their shelves, along with they used to get the exclusives as well, like the Doctor Strange exclusive. I've still got that this day with the blue head. That's still because they had that one as well. And they had some great figures towards from Diamond. And ever since they went out of business, you've not kind of seen that level of Diamond Select product on a shelf over here.
No, they I think after that we still continue to do a few exclusives through the website. I don't think we've done anything in a little while, but they had some really good exclusives, and some of them eventually we offered through comic shops as well. But they were a great partner for a long time. I think we're still going to do some stuff with them.
Cool.
I got Diamond Select all around me. My favorite figure of the year before was this one.
Oh, excellent.
This figure, for anyone that's a Spider-Man fan or a symbiote fan, to have like the articulated tendrils as well that then comes off. And I had the older version of both Carnage and Venom, and then the newer versions. But this to me was just, and especially as it came out around about the time that Venom 2 came out as well, and we had Carnage in that, it was just phenomenal figure. This is one that will stay in my collection for a very long time. It's an incredible figure.
I never got my hands on the Carnage one, but I remember getting the Venom figure with the Eddie head and stuff like that. I remember that one coming out with the one where you could get the dual thing as well. We had like two heads at one. I've got that one still on my shelf, and I love that one. Yeah, that's the one.
I'm literally reaching in different directions. This is not pre-set up at all. Like it is all just within reach.
Just around.
This again, another. I love this element of the figures, which is something again in other lines you don't seem to see much of, but to have that kind of removable, because it's so seamless. Like you've got your figure there, and then you pop that on, and you've got a completely different figure.
Being able to do multiple versions of some of the characters is a big thing we think about when we're coming up with character designs. I know that the next couple of figures we're doing are very much it's important that we're able to do one version and then make it swappable to do another version. Like even Silver Centurion Iron Man we did, he had like the special helmet and the Iron and the Tony Stark head, so you can do kind of different versions of the armor. But we're gonna do a lot of that in the future as well.
Andy Roberts in the chat said the Anti-Venom figure has always been a favorite of mine.
It's a good looking sculpt.
Phenomenal one. I had a really good little segue a minute ago, and I'm going to kind of backtrack on myself to go into our segue. One of my favorite figures in the Lord of the Rings line is the Moira Orcs, is they called, or the Myra Orcs, the small one.
I never know how to pronounce it. Moria.
Myra. But they're very cool, and obviously in Lord of the Rings kind of lore, they're dwarfs, goblins, cave orcs, like miniature goblin kind of things. So my segue is, let's very quickly talk on something that me and Sorrel launched on Friday, which is our own Kickstarter.
Where you was going with this?
You didn't know where I was going with it.
Oh no! Sorry,
And
go on.
it's a new line of figures called Pocket Goblins, and basically we've kind of gone back to the old. Do you remember the monster in my pocket, the muscle men, the pet aliens, that kind of stuff? So we were like, you know what, let's do a Kickstarter. So we've set up with some designers, some sculptors, some printers, painters, all that kind of stuff. We kind of got everyone lined up, and we've got a very exciting opportunity to kind of move this forward. What's really exciting is that we launched it on Friday, and in 3 days we are 14% funded now. Is it, Sorrel?
16%.
16% funded.
Yeah,
That's great.
16% funded, which is phenomenal, and people are getting behind it. But we're very quickly just going to do a little bit of a plug on that. So let's run our little advert. See what you think of this, Zach. You never know. Diamond Select might want to pick it up further down the line. Who knows?
Yesteryear, a time where small, exciting, collectible, and tradable action figures were the currency of the playground and lined children's pockets everywhere. But what happened to those toys? It makes you wonder, just how great would it be to have a line of toys like those again?
Pocket Goblins. Put a goblin in your pocket.
There you go.
Those are great.
It's
And
cool.
I love Muscle Man. I actually had some on my shelf. This is one
Oh,
of
look at that. It was like and that wasn't even set up.
No, I love Muscle. Muscle's great. I used to have a lot of the Muscle action figures too, but
Yes.
I know the pink guys. I grew up with the little pink guys for sure.
We
Not
were
Muscle in my pocket so much, but the goblins look great.
Thanks very much. We were talking like last year, and we were kind of like, there's a lot of people that are, you know, in our position that are attempting to create figures and kind of attempting to kind of get that off the ground. And with today's, you know, with social media and crowdfunding and that kind of stuff, it was a possibility. So we spent a few months kind of putting things in place, and it looks to be very much a possibility. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to obviously thank everybody that has backed it. Everyone that has, we really do appreciate it. It's going to run until the 15th of March. If we get the full funding, we're able to move forward with it, and it's kind of going to set the things in motion for Series 2. And we are going to be announcing our stretch goals as well. So on Kickstarter, there's a set amount that you need to raise. But if you raise past that, people put in stretch goals. So we've just kind of finalized what our stretch goals can be, and what's affordable for us to produce as well. So we are going to be announcing stretch goals, which may include a glow-in-the-dark option that people have been saying, oh, it'd be great if you had a glow-in-the-dark one. There's very much a possibility of a glow-in-the-dark one. And we are currently quite possibly able to make our rare one and our ultra rare one metallic. So even though the project's launched, we're still kind of developing stuff. So yeah, it's exciting. But for us, it was all about that kind of nostalgic little, you know, non-articulated but collectible action figures. So we were like, let's, you know, there's people out there doing the highly detailed articulated figures very, very well. People like Diamond Select. Let's do something different. Let's go for something a little bit different. So yeah, so that is live. So obviously Sorrel's dropped that in the chat. So anyone watching, if you want to back us, go and have a look. We've done it as well so that the reward tiers where anybody that backs us will be getting something in their hand. So the very kind of minimal reward tier is a single goblin, right up to the whole wave, the whole set you can get as well. So, and they're going to come in blind bag form as well, which is even better. So we're going to do them in blind bags. But yeah, so that's my little segue from Lord of the Rings goblins to our goblins.
Put a goblin in your pocket.
Yes, you're giving it away that it's your voice now, so
everyone knows that's me.
The curtain. But yeah, it's going well. Chris in the chat there as well said hyped to pick up Sam and Saruman. Saruman? Why couldn't I say that? Saruman. Why couldn't I say that? Saruman.
Oh, Saruman.
Saruman. Yeah. I think Zach's got them.
Oh yeah. I got in the first sample, some samples. They're going to be shipping to stores this week.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Same out looking great. It's a really amazing likeness for Sam and for Saruman as well. Saruman, we did alternate arms, so to fix the drapery problem. So you can have the arms bent and the drapery hanging down. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
See, now I know that the other two. Sorry, go keep talking.
No, you go. I was going to say. I was just going to say, I thought Frodo seemed very alone because we had like the Fellowship, but we were missing a few more hobbits. So, but understandably, like you weren't going to kind of just dish out 4 hobbits straight away. You know, you're going to give us the other characters. But it's good to know that the rest are coming.
Yeah, no, being able to, I think people see a lot more value with a full-size character than a smaller character, and being able to show that value, early on. I think it's an easier purchase for people to be able to buy a full size figure, and I think the smaller characters are more of like a, complete the set kind of thing. So hopefully people dig Sam. He's got to come with some cool accessories, and like I said, Merry and Pippin will come with some cool accessories too.
Yeah.
I think the way you've dropped these figures has been phenomenal. So like, I love the fact that we got like your Frodo and your Gandalf kind of similar time, and then you got kind of the base of the Fellowship. You got your 3, the Gimli, the Legolas, and the Aragorn. Most people want those 3 at least in that line, and then slowly dripping in characters like your Gollums and your Sarumans, and just slowly drip feeding them in. Now is perfect. I love the way they've done that. And I was just gonna say that now that I know that Merry and Pippin are coming. Oh yeah, I need to pick up Sam now to go and Frodo and stuff. So yeah, I can't wait to have them all together.
Yeah, no, they're the 2 newest ones. Like I said, they keep getting better. So the 2 newest ones are very cool, and I can't wait for people to see what's in the wave after Merry and Pippin, because that'll be very cool.
Yeah, many countryside photographies are going to be done this summer. Let's put it that way.
They're saying that we have a very rich opportunity over here in the UK. That we have lots of fields and country Hobbit-esque Middle-earth looking settings. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be taking mine out with me.
If you look at the Middle-earth map, that's where I live. I live in the Shire. I'm up in Yorkshire. That's my home. Is that? I'm a Hobbit.
Pretty much. Chris has said in the chat, I think that if you go watch on replay, Chris, I think we'll answer your question. We did discuss this a little bit earlier, but there are going to be more Hobbit offerings and more Middle-earth reveals in the future. But go back and watch from the beginning of the show, and you'll see what Zach said about that.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned, but we will after we've done some more Fellowship of the Ring. We're gonna Lord of the Rings trilogy. We're gonna do some from the Hobbit trilogy. So that will be very cool.
Wow, even better. It's just a really cool line. It really is a cool line. I'm trying to think now who the next characters are going to be. I'm like looking at the display, and I'm like, who are they going to be? But yeah, Gandalf the White is definitely a must.
Yes, for sure. We've shown his prototype. He was originally going to be in the wave with Merry and Pippin, but Merry and Pippin are 2 separate releases, so that's a wave right there. So we'll have to factor in who's going to share a wave with Gandalf the White.
They had to go together. There's no 2 ways about it. They had to go together. It would be criminal if they didn't. Like you couldn't. Who would you release first? Like you couldn't just release one of them. But what's your personal favorite line at the moment going on with Diamond Select? Have you got a particular license that you're really favoring, or?
I do love the mini-mates. So whenever there's a new mini-mate set, I'm very excited. We have 2 new ones hitting this week, which are the Daredevil action figure, Daredevil deluxe box set, and the All Elite Wrestling Series 2. So I'm very excited about those. Action figure wise, I do love the Iron Giant figure. It's really great. It's got the light up eyes. We've done a couple different versions. The metallic one is next, but I'm a big fan of this figure. So whenever there's a new version, I'm always a game for it, and I love the light up eyes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. It's a bit of you, Sorrel.
Photograph too.
Yeah, that's a bit of you, Sorrel.
Yep, love it.
It's a bit of you. See, my problem is I'm a bit of a completionist, so I'm very much that if there's things like the Lord of the Rings, the Invincible, like when I get it and I'm like, okay, this is good. Like Monster Girl, I've got the set now. This is cool. Yes, there's characters I'd like to see, but I have all that's available and all that's being offered. And then you drop like a couple more, and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna, And now knowing that about Lord of the Rings is blowing my mind, because I'm now gonna have to clear a whole bunch of space.
We've got to do this while Zach's here. Jacob, right now you got to put it down. If we know there's a Lord of the Rings exclusive coming for San Diego, who do you think it's going to be? Let's do it right now. Let's see who's right. I'm going to go with Arwen. If you want him, come and claim him. I have to watch these films again tomorrow. Now I've hyped myself up now.
Arwen would be great. For the exclusive, it's going to be somebody we've seen before. The exclusives are tough because they are usually limited. So to do an all new character that's not going to be available anywhere else is tricky.
Evil Frodo in the from the end of the film, he's all covered in soot, and you've got to throw it in the cave, Mr. Frodo.
It will be a cool new version of a character we've seen, but I think it'll be between the packaging and the accessories. I think it'll definitely be a must own.
I'm gonna go for the Aragon King, like the end of the film.
Good shout.
Same head sculpt, new sculpt on the body, bunch of new accessories.
It's a good guess.
You kneel to no one.
That would be. Looking at the figures. Yeah, that's the only one I can imagine having a secondary figure. That's what I go. How much money are we putting on this, Sorrel? Because you've had your guess now.
I know. I guess they kind of shot me down instantly. Like, well, orange ball, but no.
I was going to go for Bullrog. Like
I'm
the big.
Trying to managing expectations.
Yeah. But no, it is good. I can't wait to see that cave troll now. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing. That really is cool.
I can't wait to get one myself.
Here's a question for you, because obviously we discussed diorama pieces, and some of the figures come with big diorama pieces and some come with just the accessories and stuff. Is there a process into sort of who comes with a diorama piece, or which ones you do diorama pieces with, or is it just a kind of a luck of the draw sort of thing?
I think it really does depend on whether there are accessories that that make sense to include with the character. I will admit, and most people have seen this, that we don't do as many anymore as we used to. There has been it's ever since COVID, there's been a slight increase in manufacturing costs, so it's affected how much we can actually include with each figure. So do a big tooled base like that is not always feasible. But no, it's really usually it's considered as part of the line from the beginning, from the concept stage. So I think there hasn't been as much development of the dioramas as recently, but I think we have been stepping up the articulation game, and we have been stepping up the accessories. So I really do think it's a trade-off. I think it's a trade-off that most people are interested in, getting more articulation and getting more accessories. So I know people have loved the dioramas in the past, but and I'm not saying we'll never do them again in the future, but I think you'll see fewer of them, at least, because it would necessitate, usually in most cases, a price increase, and we try to keep our prices reasonable and in line with previous releases. So I think it's been a while since we've had an increase on selects, the Marvel selects and the Nightmare Before Christmas selects. They're $30 now, and the deluxe figures range from $25 to $30. The ones in the smaller packaging with the windows. So we don't want to put them out of reach of the average collector. So hopefully we'll be able to keep them at the prices that we have them at for a long time. Yeah.
No, I mean, for me, the diorama pieces that blew it away were Nightmare Before Christmas aside, because I'm favour that line in particular. But the Ghostbusters, the front of the firehouse, the rooftop, like they were phenomenal. They're absolutely phenomenal.
That was a really difficult line to plan out. The president of DST Chuck, he it was a labor of love for him to make that happen. So we were very proud of that, and hopefully someday we'll get a chance to revisit Ghostbusters, because it's a great world to play in.
Oh, I bet. I mean, we spoke maybe 2 weeks ago. For me, the cartoon version of the Ghostbusters, I'm kicking myself to this day for passing on them when I saw them in store. I think it was in a Forbidden Planet. Seeing them in hand, I was like, yeah, these are phenomenal. These are brilliant. But I wasn't collecting Ghostbusters properly at that time, and I was like, oh, is it, do I buy these or do I? And all four of them were there, and absolutely kicking myself just because that's going back to my childhood. Like, that cartoon was a huge part of it, and just not being able to get a decent action figure of those characters, but knowing that they're out there. I think I saw a listing on eBay for like £650 for like the four of them, and I was like, I can't pay that for something I had in my hand in a store and put down.
Yeah, it was tricky. I think that was towards the end of our Ghostbusters license. So while some of the other figures we were able to do multiple releases of, I don't think we were able to do the same with the real Ghostbusters ones, which is too bad because those were definitely some of the best received in the line.
Oh, they're fantastic. The other one as well with Nightmare Before Christmas, for some reason, Lock, Shock and Barrel, cannot find it.
I've got them.
I know you have.
Bathtub.
You know what? This is where I feel like an absolute rubbish dad, because they are my three favorite characters in the film. I have near enough I think I'm missing two other of the characters, but I don't have those ones. And I'm like, yeah, we will get them at some point. Like, it's okay, hold your horses. I'm sure they'll come around.
My comic book store has the vampires and the witches packs in, and I keep looking at them like, nope, don't do it.
Yeah, the vampires are a lot of fun. The vampires are definitely a lot of fun.
It's been a while since we released the bathtub with Lock, Shock, and Barrel, but we did include Lock, Shock, and Barrel in series, I think, 2 of the best of Nightmare Before Christmas without the bathtub. So I think we're going to make those best of figures available again. We're working on series 4 of best of, so it'll be another wave of re-releases. But we're also working on series, I believe it's 10. It might be higher than 10. So with new Nightmare Before Christmas characters that we've never done before, and I don't think anybody's done before. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Hopefully we'll be offering those in the next couple of months. And
I'm trying to think at that point who this could even be. Like,
I will say that they're not characters that had a lot of screen time. But
it would have to be at this point.
They're still awesome designs. And if you want to create a whole town square where everybody's standing around singing about the Pumpkin King, then they would be part of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. I do need to keep my eye on those best of ones, because I'm missing a couple. There are a couple. I think the 2 that come to mind straight away is the werewolf and the melting face guy. They're 2 that I've struggled to get hold of. The little corpse boy as well, because he came as part of I think he came with Sunglasses Jack, or came with one of them as.
I feel like Corpse Boy might have come with Behemoth. I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong. I don't know if most Jacks didn't really come with anybody. They usually came with like larger pieces or something like that. But I believe that he came with Behemoth.
Behemoth, yeah, he came with Behemoth.
I thought I had Behemoth.
Behemoth and Corpse Boy came together with the black and white little toy that Jack makes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't remember if Wolfman and Molting Man came together. They might have.
They did, yeah.
Okay.
They did. But yeah, I'm really racking my brain now as to who those extra ones are going to be. This is exciting. I'm going to tell my son this. He's going to be well excited in the morning. Well, I'm like, guess what's coming? Guess what's coming in the next couple of months? Yeah, he'll be well excited about that.
For Night Before Christmas, I think it's just the band at this point. The band, Jack's band outside town. No, I've got them. I'm missing them from my collection. Is what I'm saying. They're the only ones, because I've been collecting it since day one. So I've got the town square piece. I've got all the big bath pieces that came with the original ones, like the bathtub and stuff. Like my Easter Bunny came with the big sack and everything as well. I'm not sure if the best of one did. Jack, you can put that inside the bathtub with Lock, Shock, and Barrel, sort of bringing him to Jack. That's my favorite thing ever.
Excellent.
Yeah, the band are very hard.
The 3 Jimmys, Jimmy, and Jimmy.
Yeah, they're really hard to get hold of. I need those ones as well. They're ones that, again, on the secondary market are really difficult. I think because it's, what was it, the 25th anniversary this year?
Yeah.
Because I actually took my son to see it in the cinema, which was great, because they played it. They played it in a cinema local to me. There was only a couple dotted around that played it, and we watched it. almost daily. I think at one point we were watching it every day. So to actually go and sit down in the cinema with popcorn and a drink and actually watch it on the big screen, and he came out and he was like, "Daddy, that's even better. Like that was even better." It's the same film, like but yeah, it's funny. Oh, there's so many characters. I'm going to figure it out though. I will definitely figure it out. We'll definitely figure it out. So apart from Nightmare Before Christmas, is there anything else that people watching should kind of keep their eyes out for? Anything that you're kind of at liberty to say?
Let's see. Action figure wise, we do have some new Marvel selects coming up. I think we're waiting to see which one is. I think we're going to be offering a new one end of February. So that'll be cool. It is the 25th anniversary of DST. We started in 1999, same year as Nightmare Before Christmas. So definitely keep an eye out for some cool 25th anniversary information. We're gonna do some contests. We're gonna do some special branding on the packaging. I'm not sure what we're gonna do as far as the special products, but we do have a lot planned for San Diego, which will be very cool. I'm trying to think what action figures we've offered recently that are still upcoming. Jean-Claude Van Damme should be coming out pretty soon. The first Jean-Claude Van Damme figure. We do have a second one that we've offered as well. But I think he should be out in the next month or so. Captain America and Crimson Dynamo should be coming out in the next month or two. Trying to think what else we're going to be offering soon. Rebel Moon Series 2 might be offered as early as late February, possibly. So I'm excited about that because the first two figures ended up looking really great, and I'm excited to see what I've seen some of the sculpts of Series 2. I'm not sure which two characters are going to end up being in Series 2 because I know that they're kind of competing to see which one's going to get approved first, but that should be very cool as well. Mini-mates wise, we've got a bunch of Marvel waves in the works. There's at least 2 more waves that we haven't shown yet, and I'm a big fan of the Mini-mates. We just put out the Daredevil set. We will put out the Daredevil set this coming week. So that's very cool. I'm trying to think if there's anything else upcoming toy-wise. We've got a lot of great busts and statues and gallery dioramas as well. I know that's not necessarily your focus as far as action figures and stuff goes, but yeah, no, we're always putting out new Marvel gallery dioramas. We're doing something for the new Spider-Man game. We're going to reissue the PlayStation Spider-Man figure from the video game because that one was very well received and hasn't been available in a while. So in celebration of the new game, we're going to re-release the first game figure. And that came with like a little spider bot. I think it came with a cell phone. And it came with some webbing, so you can web up a prisoner. So that's a really cool figure. Had some good articulation. It's a great costume design. So that one will be out hopefully by summer.
Amazing. My favorite Spider-Man recently was definitely the Miles Morales one that came with a little spider ham.
Oh yeah.
Phenomenal. Well, my son's called Miles, so obviously anything Miles Morales he eats up. Like he absolutely loves it. He's convinced that I may have been inspired a little bit for the name, but yeah. So anything Miles Morales he eats up. So obviously when that one came through the door, he was like, "Can I have this one?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, go on then." But it is my figure. But that was a really cool one, and that was a really good design. And obviously the game was so well received. The Spider-Man 2 was so well received.
Yeah.
Any possibility of something like the Venom from that game? That would be a good Diamond Select figure. Let's be honest.
I don't know what talk there's been about new game figures, but hopefully if the re-release does as well as I think it will, maybe it's something we'll look at. I'm not sure I believe it's that we have the rights to do it. So it's just a question of whether or not that's something that we think there will be a market for. And I haven't really seen I am not a gamer, so I'm not fully versed in all the game designs, but I think I saw the trailer and it looks pretty cool. So that'd be a great figure to do. And we just, like you said, we just did the Miles for Disney. I think that was the last figure we did for the Disney store. So so he's out there if people are interested in getting him. He does come with Spider-Ham.
Yes, he does. It's funny because even talking about Venom there, because obviously the more recent releases of Venom have been the more kind of slender, kind of like almost like the McFarlane sketched of Venom, like the slender kind of built. Whereas I think back in early 2000s there was the Ultimate Venom, I think it was, but it was much less articulated. But a big hulking version of the figure. A big version of Venom would definitely be a good. I'm thinking kind of like the Abomination, Juggernaut kind of sized Venoms. Like to have something like that on people's shelves would be a good one.
No,
I'm,
that'd
a
be very
big,
cool.
I'm a big symbiote fan, a big fan of the symbiotes, and yeah, for me, Diamond Select, like I said earlier, the Carnage and the Venom are top tier for me. Outside of the kind of really high premium, Hot Toys level kind of figures, that Carnage just ticks all the boxes. All the
That's
boxes.
great. Yeah. No, it's a really great figure.
So, what else has been going on this week? Because obviously, we normally talk about all the stuff that's been going on this week, and we've just talked to Zach.
No, please talk about other stuff. I've seen a lot of. I follow Toy News on Instagram primarily, so I've seen a lot of news coming out this week. What's going on?
Yeah, so Tron has been greenlit and is officially being produced at Disney now. They started filming this week, and the producer put out a picture of the director's chair. So they're stylizing it as TR3N for Tron. So they're going to be the next Tron movie in the Disney sort of film run. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the last Tron movie. I actually have the one of the Tron figures here in my thing. I love that they have the voice and the light up faces. Does this one work? I think this one works. I thought it did. Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so reminiscent of like the figures back in the day. We were talking recently about like the whatever happened to holograms. Like holograms were like such a good thing back in the kind of 80s, 90s. And there was like things like the Visionaries and the
Supernatural, right?
Supernaturals, that was it, where it was literally just almost like a plastic casing with a hologram. And then even down to things like Battle Beasts that they had like the heat sensitive bits that you rubbed off, and it what happened to that? Like bring back figures like that. So to see little kind of quirky things like the light up faces and stuff on those Tron figures I love anything that's kind of a little bit of a nod to yesteryear.
No, I miss holograms too, and heat transfers, heat sensing thing.
Yeah. What else we got, Sorrell? You're the man in the chair.
As well this week, on the 29th of January, Disney Store will be giving us the next dose of the droid factory figures. So those are the little pull-apart droids that everyone knows I love and collect. I've been collecting them since, God, when I was a kid at Disney parks. And they're finally giving us the Ahsoka ones. So we're going to see these 4 lovely droids being reproduced. Everyone's going to be happy that we're getting Chopper, because the Chopper one on the second market goes for silly money now. So I'm looking forward to that. That's another one.
What was David Tennant's character called? What's he called?
Oh,
the one in the middle.
How I can never say it. Yang.
Yeah.
that one.
If that's Droid Factory, I'm assuming that's like a dismantleable figure.
Yep, so they're all pull-apartables. So they do the protocol droids and they start doing the CP droids now as well. So you can get all sorts of the different droids now, all pull apart and detachable.
Brilliant.
In the parks, you can even buy the Droid Factory where you can like assemble them on the little assembly line.
It costs me an arm and a leg every time we go to Disney, because one of my sons wants a Droid Factory droid, and it's just like, come on, you've got like however many of them at home. Like it's no different. The experience is no different. Like, come on, we've done this before. Like
you wait to go to Florida and they want to do the big Droid Factory, all right? Because that is expensive. That ran me a good few $100s.
Yeah, yeah.
No. I know this one's going to be a little bit lost on Zach. This is pretty much very much a UK thing, but Tesco and Entertainer have joined forces.
Wow.
So Tesco will no longer, basically Entertainer will have a section in the Tesco stores to run their toy aisle, basically. So the Tesco will no longer sell toys. They'll just be an Entertainer. And it will even have its own staff and stuff. So a bit like what Sainsbury's do with Argos.
Interesting.
Yes, we're gonna get an Entertainer in Tesco.
So for I don't know how well you are with the UK supermarket scene, Zach, but Tesco's is your very similar to your Walmart. You know, it's just a grocery store that sells everything from clothes to toys and figures. And it's one of those stores over here. It's been here for donkey's years. And there's always a toy aisle. There's always a DIY aisle. There's always like all that kind of stuff. So, and the Entertainer is a high street toy store. So, but much more the kind of, I think the most collectible kind of elements of an Entertainer is Lego. Probably, it's very much your kind of pocket money toys and things like that. So that's interesting.
Yeah, but Entertainer are a weird one in the UK because they're not allowed to open on a Sundays. They're not allowed anything that goes against like the company's owned by a very religious man, so you don't have like no Harry Potter in there, no Halloween, no a lot of science fiction's banned. So it's going to be a weird one because Tesco stock a lot of Harry Potter merch. I'm intrigued how that's going to work for them, but we'll see what happens there. But that was kind of there was not a lot of stuff really this week. Massively in the toy world, there was a lot of entertainment news, but not a lot of stuff for toys really.
This is usually where we'd go, and Diamond Select have shown this week. So
we're coming up on our where we reveal the new pre-order. So a lot of our new news is going to come out over the next course of the next week. We have a couple exclusive reveals. But I mentioned a few of the things we're going to be showing off.
Brilliant. We'll make sure to cover that next week.
Jacob, do you remember what? Because I love telling people this story. Do you remember what your first Diamond Select figure was?
Whatever or recently? My first Diamond Select figure ever. You've muted yourself now, so you can't even like segue for me. I'm gonna have to think about this one.
So mine was, I think this is so random, Jay and Silent Bob. When it was the ones where they're dressed up as their alter egos, Bluntman and Chronic, and of course Mark Hamill's character as Cockknocker.
Of course, yeah.
Those were my first 3 Diamond Select figures because I remember my comic book store having them, and it was the time when the Jay and Bob Silent movie came out, the Strikes Back one, and I should not have been watching that at the age I was. But anyway, and it was the fact that they had a Star Wars ripoff in the middle of that. And I was just like, I have to own these figures now because it's Mark Hamill as this weird lightsaber holding masked bad guy. And I remember Diamond Select released those figures, including Mark Hamill's really big stupid hand that he used as the cock knocker. And I had to own them, and then as soon as I saw them, then we got the quick stop thing with Jay and Silent Bob to stand outside of it, and I still own that to this day. That's in the other room, in my other collection room. I've got my Jay and Silent Bob figures stood side by side. I love them.
You know what? You really put me on the spot here. I wish you'd asked me this like an hour ago.
I just assumed it would be Marvel and you'd have it behind you because look.
I know what mine was. My first Diamond Select was, I think, probably Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Wow.
And they had talking boxes that came with them to say different lines of dialogue. So, I was collecting back towards the beginning of their releases in 1999, 2000. Because that was when I was working for Toy Fair magazine.
Wow. I remember,
it's still on the page. I've just googled it, right? And because I didn't realize Diamond Select made Monty Python, so now my brain's going mental. And I've just googled it, and on Diamond Comics distributors thing, you can actually find the page where you guys announced it, and the fact that it says to order now, fax over too. Like, fax over the order. That's so 90s.
Wow.
Send a telegram.
I'll tell you what, it's actually a really difficult one to answer because to kind of give a bit of history behind it, and now that you've mentioned the date, Zach, it kind of makes sense. But for me, I've always been an action figure collector, right back to in the day of kind of like we were mentioning earlier, like Monster in My Pocket, Muscle Men, He-Man, Thundercats, all that kind of stuff. But then I really became an action figure collector around the 99-2000 year, and it kind of propelled for me when I worked over in America in 2000, and discovered Midtown Comics, and went into Midtown Comics, went upstairs, and there was all these action figures, and obviously Diamond Select Toy Biz, like they kind of dominated the shelf at the time. And yeah, I used to come back with suitcases of things, and it was all the kind of the McFarlane movie maniacs at the time as well, like all those kind of things. So I'm really struggling because it would have been something around that era.
Sorry, I'm more concerned with the fact that you were working at that point. I was in high school.
I'm a little bit older than you. Not only working in another country. Sorry,
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, you were in New York living home, and I'm just in Featherstone High School in Yorkshire in the middle of nowhere.
I was. You ever heard that that Sting song? The I'm an alien. Now that's how that was me. Like I was just like I knew not. I was 18, just got dropped like in the middle of New York. I was like, wow, this is phenomenal. But no, it was Midtown Comics that kind of just really blew it up for me, and that kind of introduced me to the bigger picture of kind of, especially Marvel action figure collections. But I will come back. I'll post it on my Instagram or saying what my first one was.
I need to come out.
We may have bumped into each other at some point there, because in 1999, 2000, I was going into the city. I worked, north of the city a little bit, north of New York City. I was going to the city every other weekend, and I would always hit Midtown Comics. So I was always there looking at what toys they had.
It was a really funny time because I was a big comic book reader. But being in the UK, especially back then, it was much harder to pick things up, and to graphic novels were great because you could pick up kind of like series and that, and going in and finding, because obviously New York City is great for comic book stores, or at least it was back then. And there were certain ones where you'd get your long boxes of back issues, and you could pick them up for like $1 or 50 cents in some instances. And I would go and I would kind of spend hours in there just kind of picking out and getting things to complete collections and stuff. And I remember driving. I was in my friend Ben's car, and he was a big comic book guy, all the rest of it. And we were discussing our favorite comic book runs and stuff, and he said, "Have you ever read Kingdom Come?" And I was like, "No, I haven't," at the time. And in my memory, it's probably different, but in my memory, he just swerved the car, pulled up, jumped out the car, went into this store, came out with his little yellow bag, went, "Read this, it'll change your life." And I still have that copy of Kingdom Come now. And so it's I used to love the comic book stores. But yeah, Midtown for me, the figures, it would have definitely, my first select would have definitely been probably for Midtown, I would have thought, or at least one of the independent comic book stores. But I will come back to you on it. I will figure it out, and I'll come back to you on it. So it might still be in my collection. It might well still be in my collection somewhere. But no, it's mad. So entertainment news. Is there much more from the week? Because we're in that kind of dry period at the beginning of January where it's like things are dripping through.
It's because it's as well. There's probably not a lot of toy news this week because in England next week it's the London Toy Fair. So London Toy Fair is on next week. So all the companies are pretty stum at the minute. There'll be some announcements, I'm guessing, all next week from all the people that they're going to be there. But no, there's not a lot. Everyone's just doing all them top 10s of last year kind of posts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
we had all the big trailer drops last week that we talked about. There's not a lot going on, mate. To be honest, it's quiet.
Any particular movies? Say again, Zach.
I have a question, actually.
Go for it.
Is there a big market for G.I. Joe in the UK? Being like Action Force, adjacent.
It's a sensitive one for us UK collectors. Just because there's a huge collection, a huge market of collectors for G.I. Joe. And when Hasbro released the new articulated line, the 6-inch line, people went mad for it. And then Hasbro made it a Hasbro exclusive only via Hasbro Pulse. And so a lot of the independent retailers who had kind of kept the hobby going through COVID and stuff were quite outspoken about the disappointment. And people kind of, collectors, not boycotted it as such, but kind of went, well, actually it's this or that. So, but there's a huge following of G.I. Joe and Action Force.
You might say, we always had G.I. Joe in the UK, but it was Action Force. It was known as in the UK, not G.I. Joe. We call it Action Force, and it's exactly the same figures, just different card backs with different names for half of the
But we had the cartoon. The cartoon was over.
Cartoon was still the same over here,
and that was still G.I. Joe. Like it was a G.I. Joe. Like it was we loved it. I loved it growing up, and me and Sorrel always talk. We loved the cartoon that had like a moral at the end, like a lesson to be learned. You know, your He-Man, your GI Joes, like that was always wholesome. Like,
Today we learned all about the power of share.
No, 1984, 1985 was my, sweet spot. I was collecting GI Joe, I was collecting Transformers, and so GI Joe was a big one for me. And
If you could put out a Sergeant Slaughter, some form of statue, I'll be all over that.
yeah, I'm not sure what the rights are for Sergeant Slaughter. There probably has to be a separate deal with him, but yeah, no, I love the GI Joe galleries we've been doing, and the mini mates, of course. I'm trying to get into more mini mates, but sales have been really strong on the mini mates for GI Joe, but even though the packaging is really cool, so I'm trying to get us to do more.
I think mini mates over here in general, it's a funny one because I don't think a lot of people know as much about them as they do maybe over your side. Because I know obviously at the conventions and stuff, you have setups and things like that with your mini mates. I mean, Rocco was talking about like your mini mate bin that you had with all the different parts and stuff and things like that. And I think mini mates is waiting to really explode over here.
They appear in the UK, but it's usually in B&M, which is one of our like Ross. It's a bit of a discounty kind of a store. Okay. So they did appear in there when other companies have kind of gone under. B&M will buy up their stock basically to sell cheap. So they did have if you remember Jacob, they've had like the Alien figures appeared in there. The Alien ones from Toys R Us all appeared in there. We had a couple of the Marvel ones recently, like the Target exclusive ones, the Walgreens exclusive ones. They all kind of appeared. So people do know what it is because they were all over the B&Ms for quite a while. Yeah. It's just that the comic book stores don't really stock them over here. Like my comic book store that I go to, he stocks the Diamond Select figures. He usually gets the Marvel ones and like the Nightmare Before Christmas, but then he'll have to specially order in anything other than that you want in from other lines. You don't really get much in. There's only a small store though. But I've never seen any of the mini mates in person in a shop really, other than outside of B&M.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, B&M, like Sorrel said, it's one of these stores over here that buys up
liquidated stock, isn't it?
Liquidated stock. So there will be a particular action figure line. Like they do store they do hold their own stock now, but when they first came out, it was very much just what they would have in like the BM local to me would be completely different to the one for Sorrel. So it would be kind of, if you were collecting mini mates, for example, I'd go in and say, oh, look, my one's got Ripley and Xenomorph, whatever, and Sorrel would be like, well, actually, I've got Alien 3, so let's buy one each and then swap them over or something like that. So people do know what they are, but I think because none of the retailers that I know of sort of lead with mini mates, even if they do have them in stock. But I think they're phenomenal, especially as a dad as well. Like they're that weird kind of. They're one of the few kind of action figure lines that kind of cross over into both playability and collectability. So like you can, as a dad, I can play with my kids with them, but then as a collector, I can also quite happily have some behind glass.
But the vinyl mates at Comic Cons here in the UK sell like wildfire. If you've got especially the Nightmare Before Christmas ones, every Comic Con I go to, you see loads of young people walking around with the Sally Nightmare Before Christmas Diamond Select things, and they sell like wildfire. Nightmare Before Christmas has a massive following here in the UK, and sort of the gothic alternative scene. It's like a big thing over here, and all the girls love it. So yeah, you do see a lot of it at Comic Con, especially the Vinimates, which you don't hear about them very often. But the Vinimates, they're quite popular in the Comic Con scene. Because I remember I saw Beetlejuice and the Alice in Wonderland ones recently.
Yeah, no, we've done a lot of Vinimates. We're still doing some for All Elite Wrestling, where we made a couple different wrestlers, and we've got a couple more in the works. We do offer them at used primarily at conventions nowadays.
Yeah, I think that it would be good to have. So we have like MCM over here, which is our big. I think I've spoken to you previously.
Big London one, yeah.
Our kind of big convention that they have both south with London and then north with like Birmingham, or like it's been at Birmingham.
Birmingham in it now, yeah.
And they do it like twice a year at both locations, and there's always a big presence of various different toy lines, be it Hasbro, J-Dub, Funko, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I think if Minimates had a presence there, I think it would kind of put it in the forefront, at least kind of for people to see what's available. Because as you say, to be able to collect one type of figure but going across so many different franchises, that's what's really appealing to me. To actually have a Power Ranger and a Ninja Turtle and a Transformer and a GI Joe, like all, and a, you know, a Marvel character, Spider-Man or something, all in the same format, is really unique. And that's what I really like about it, because I can comfortably put them into my collection, because I'm like, you know what, my Turtle ones are there with my Turtles, my Power Rangers are there with my Power Rangers, but there's that fluidity between them. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, that's a lot, the fan base is you know, is primarily, you know, well, they do love the interchangeability, but the fact that you can put them all in one space and have them all interact is a big thing.
Are we going to get any Invincible Minimates? That's the question.
We did a box set a while back. I'd love to do more, but the box set was very well received. It's probably hard to find nowadays, but it's definitely I would love to see it. They're such great designs. All the designs for Invincible are so great, and they're beautiful, and they're, you know, simple. You know, they're very I don't want to say basic, but they're so colorful and streamlined that I think they do really well as a Minimates line. So I'd love to see more if we can do it.
I've actually grabbed some, because I've got to just say that the packaging on the GI Joe, these box set ones, is just stunning. Like, you know, it's like a miniature action figure, and the fact that it's so the packaging is so close to the original packaging. But what I really liked, what I really marked out for, was that on the back, where we had the character cards before, but this time they're the Minimate heads. I thought that was such a good detail on them.
Yeah, that's the designer again, Barry Bradfield. He designs all the Minimates, and he's been working on the packaging for the GI Joe specifically, and he did a really great job. But the new Daredevil set came out with the Daredevil Woman Without Fear, and she came out really great too.
That does look good. But it's the interchangeability, especially when one of them has a lot of accessories, or like the Transformer ones, for example, have a lot of cool shoulder pieces and all that kind of stuff. But I think one of my favorite ones, while we're talking Minimates, was the Fantastic Four set that came out, and the Mr. Fantastic with all the little extendable limbs, and you had like a little waist piece that you could make, and you could make him really quite big. But yeah, John Hood said there, G.I. Joe Minimates look fantastic. Well, there you go, John. There's like, ask your comic book store. They stock comic books. They could get hold of them. So ask them about them. I actually grabbed both. So there's the two. I don't know. Were these convention exclusives, these packs?
No, these were available through stores. Yeah, we did a convention exclusive 4-pack, like, just to kick off the line. And they were more cartoon colors, I think. These are more no, those were more comic colors, the original box set, but these are more cartoon based.
I've got all my Minimates next to me.
Yeah, there's the Ninja Force set. We did that as a con exclusive too. That was a really fun one.
That's a really good one.
Very
That's
90s.
on the VHS box. But these ones to me were. It's just it's the mini packaging. The mini packaging. It's one of the main reasons I haven't opened my D forms yet. I've got to show these. I show these near enough every week, don't I? So just every time we talk Turtles, I pull these ones out. But the packaging for that is just. I need to open them. I need to have them on my shelf. But the packaging is just stunning, absolutely stunning. But yeah, no, Minimates all the way. But I'd like Minimates to have a bigger following over here. I think it needs it. I think the UK market doesn't realise the vastness of the line.
Yeah, it's a tricky line to market, just because they are kind of multiple things. They're action figures, they're posable, they're interchangeable. They're they're mini, they're like little block figures, but they're also like action figures, and we do have a lot of lines, a lot of different licenses for them, and believe it or not, they're 20 years old. The Marvel line has been around since 2003. I think the Minimates themselves have been around since 2002. But the Marvel line is up to series. Just Daredevil is series 84, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, 84 series, and that's not counting individually released box sets that we did back before the numbered series switched over to the box set format. Con exclusives, Walgreens 2-packs, Toys R Us 2-packs, different things like
Yeah.
that. So this is the 84th specialty store comic shop release assortment. So it's been around for a long time. It's I must be doing something wrong because there's still a lot of people who don't know how great mini-mates are. So I'm constantly flagellating myself to say that I need to be doing more to let people know about them because clearly they're still looking for an audience even after 20 years.
I think, to be honest with you, I think what it is over here in the UK, and having you just list off those stores kind of made the cogs turn here. Because over here we have, like, the main toy store is a toy store called Smith's, which is essentially Toys R Us. It really came up when Toys R Us closed over here. Then that's when Smith's really kind of, it was a phoenix from the ashes, wasn't it? Sorry, when it kind of you walk into one and you would think it was a Toys R Us, like the way it's laid out, the way it looks, and everything like that. Whereas we don't have stores like Walgreens and Walmart and all those kind of things. So when it comes to exclusives across all of the action figure lines, for our retailers and our independent, like, online retailers, they're able to get those in. So we don't have wait times, we don't have to chase after things and stuff like that. So where you have action figure lines that have like a core audience and they know there's exclusives coming out or store exclusives that are coming out, they're able to order those via their favored online retailer. But I think what it is that it's not on the shelf in the main toy shops here. And I think if that nut could be cracked, I think that would make a big difference, because for me, it's not the term is like your pocket money toys, something that you can go into a store and your kid can go into the store with their birthday money or, Christmas money or something and buy something affordable nowadays is almost a thing of the past. Everything is so premium and so high priced, whereas mini mates kind of fall into that bracket where parents, it's not that much extra that parents would have to pay, if at all, for someone to buy it. So I think if they could get on the shelf over here, that would make a big difference to the UK audience, because I think, like, my kids love them, but they only know about them because obviously they're a figure line that I know about. Yeah, my kids love them, absolutely love them.
No, that's a great point. Thank you.
They're kind of like, when I describe them to my friends, and you can either love me or hate me for this, but when I describe them to my friends, I say that they're that middle ground between like a Lego figure and an action figure. That they're that kind of, that weird kind of mix of the difference. So they kind of have the playability of the action figure, but the kind of miniature and swappability of like a Lego figure, and that's kind of where I position them. And so, as I said, for my kids, the swappability, to be able to take Spider-Man's head off and put it on a Transformer or something like that is brilliant. But yeah, I think getting them on the shelf, or at least a big presence at one of the UK cons, could potentially make a difference.
Yeah, my kids are like yours. They've taken all of mine apart and mixed them all together, and I've got bags and bags of just mini-mates that are probably unsalvageable in terms of putting them back into their original configurations. And I'm like, what am I going to do with all these Marvel mini-mates that are totally, part swapped, 100%, like five different mini-mates going together to create one mini-mate.
I had my 5-year-old spent the best part of the day looking for the legs for Iron Spider, because he had put together the Iron Spider, like the MCU Iron Spider.
Oh yeah.
Figure. He was like, "Oh, I've got it. It's all together. Even the little like neck piece that had the leg." And then he spent the rest of the day trying to find the legs, and he found one. And I was like, "Well, it's not a day wasted. You've got it. So just on to the next one." But yeah, but no, they are a brilliant line. I absolutely love them.
Oh, thank you.
Right. So, anything else that we need to? We're kind of getting into the last minutes of the show. Anything else that we need to cover?
No, we've kind of covered everything off this evening, I think, we wanted to chat about.
Is there anything that you're looking forward to coming out movie-wise, Zach, before we finish up?
Gosh. I don't get out to the movie theaters much anymore. I watch all the trailers, so I see like the Madam Web trailer, and I'm like, that looks interesting. And I'm trying to think what other trailers I've watched recently. I know there's been some bunch of teasers have come out for different things. Gosh.
Ghostbusters
Yes,
for me is a
yes.
big one.
Ghostbusters looks pretty interesting. I enjoyed the last one, so I'm excited about the new one. I actually just watched for the very first time the new Ninja Turtles movie, Mutant Mayhem. And that was really great. So I'm curious they're going to see more from that. I obviously can't wait for the new Across the Spider-Verse movie whenever that comes out. I think it comes out this year, right? The next installment. So
Yes, I
excited
think
about
towards
that
the
one.
tail end. I know they changed the date on it, or they might have pushed it back to 25. I think it might have been.
Oh, maybe they did.
It was due 24, and they pushed it to 25. But it's definitely a bit of a wait.
Oh,
But yeah, I'm loving all of those kind of animated films at the moment, though. I love that they're rising in popularity. Something I did read today, though, and I don't know how true it is, but supposedly the talks about Spider-Man 4, as in Tom Holland's one, is supposed to cross over completely with the Spider-Verse side of it. So it'll be like the Miles Morales. Like, how true that is, I don't know, but supposedly that's a bit of a leak in. This is
that'd
what
be
they're
great.
planning. So
That'd be really great.
they've
Yeah,
got to
what's
come
the
to a head
thing?
at some point.
I saw the trailer, the teaser for Fallout, the TV series, which I'm not a gamer, but that looks the visuals for that have always looked really cool to me, so I'm very excited about seeing that.
Yeah,
I was the same with Last of Us, though, because I'm not a huge gamer, and being able to watch it as a TV show, I wasn't anticipating any kind of anything that was coming, so I got to enjoy it sort of fresh, if you like. So
That's great. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm very curious to.
oh, it's a brilliant show, and yeah, there's been loads of awards recently for various different elements of it as well. It's a really good one.
And the second half of Invincible season 2, I think, hits this year, so that one's I'm looking forward to.
I was so disappointed there was a break in that. I was so and I get, because of all the writer strikes and everything, it has a natural knock-on effect to things and stuff. But yeah, I was just like, it was just building up, and I was like, no, I have to wait, I have to wait. But I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving Invincible. It's it's just such a good. You need to get on it. So if you've not watched
I've never seen it. Yeah, everyone thinks it's on my list of things to do. Never got around to it.
Well, the comic is great too. I really like the comic, and I got the chance to interview Robert Kirkman like a few weeks ago when I guess a couple months ago at this point, when the season 2 just started coming out, and he was really great to talk to. But he was saying that we asked him about the violence, and he's like I was asking if he was concerned about the level of violence in the show, and he said he was always trying to find a way to get more violence in there. So I thought that was a very, very funny, honest answer.
I just think it deals with like it's very, how do you say it? Like it's very realistic in a really unrealistic way. Like, you know, these guys have got some phenomenal powers. Like, of course they're going to be beaten up. Of course bones are going to get broken and things are going to get ripped off and ripped out and stuff. And so that's what I quite appreciate, is it's like, you know, it's not all soft and you know.
Yeah, a lot of hospitalization, a lot of recuperation time.
Yeah, and just real issues as well, like the whole kind of Omni-Man having another family and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm just like, this is brilliant. Like, we got whole episodes of, like, you know, Invincible's mum kind of going to support groups because of her husband leaving her, and I'm like, this is real stuff. This is real stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. Okay. Anything you want to add to the end, Sorrell, before we kind of round it up?
No, just thank you very much to Zach for coming on and for everything you've done for us over the last year or so. We really do appreciate it, man. Just thank you very much.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate you guys getting more eyes on the product that we make. I really appreciate it.
No, we absolutely love it. Thank you ever so much. Would love to see you guys over here at some point at one of the cons. Like, that would be really, really good. But appreciate there's a lot of things that need to be put into place for that. But yeah, just before we do close up, anyone is still watching, of course, do jump over to Kickstarter and give our Pocket Goblins a little follow, whether it's a small donation, a large donation, a follow, a share, whatever it is. We're really excited. We've still got well over 50 days of the project, and we're 16%. What did you say it was, Sorrell? 16?
About 16%, I think we're on now.
Yeah, so it's looking very realistic. So fingers crossed. But Zach, no, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Like, thank you ever so much, and it's good to be able to just chat to you after all this time. over email, been able to actually just talk face to face. Yeah, been really good.
No, thank you for having me on. It's been a lot of fun.
No, that's fantastic. Stick around. We'll sort of say goodbye properly after the credits roll. But yeah, everyone watching, please do check out the description of the video. Of course, do go and check out all of the links that we put in there. Thank you very much. We do appreciate you all. And if you are watching on repeat, Sorrell,
use the hashtag #CatchupCrew.
#CatchupCrew. Thank you very much to Zach. Thank you very much to everyone in the comments. We will see you. We haven't got any Geek Week pluses this week, have we?
No, I think we're going to plan one out for later on in the week, I think.
Yeah, there will be one. There will be one. So keep your eyes on it. But if not, we are back again next week. Who's our guest next week, Sorrell?
Next week, we are going to be on with Triple G Comics.
Triple G Comics.
YouTuber.
Fantastic. Excellent stuff. So that's it. So from me, from Zach, from SuperSorrell, that's all. Thank you very much for watching. Till next week, keep it geek.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and of course subscribe. Tune in next week for another live show. Until then, keep it geek. Stay up to date at www.geekweekinreview.co.uk.